Hey guys, Abby here. I am back with an updated version of my Rad Dad Radiation Gamma Burst build for Fl4k. The gameplay is from Proving Grounds on Mayhem 3. At the beginning there you can see I showed you guys the modifiers. The modifiers that I got were pretty okay. They weren't really boosting me one way or another besides the grenade damage, and I thought that it would showcase the build properly without boosting elemental or giving me a nerf to radiation. For this Proving Grounds, I just wanted to run through, show you guys how my radiation build looks in action in Mayhem 3. It's super fun. It's really great co-op. This one I'm just running solo, and I'm taking advantage of the buff that Barbaric Yop got. If you guys haven't read the patch notes, I suggest you do so, because Fl4k's been getting some nerfs to his fadeaway build, and so people are looking for alternate builds, and I would say this pet one is pretty darn good. Here's the skill tree for the Radiation Gamma Burst build if you guys want to pause the screen and check it out. And then I'm going to be going into some specific skills that you can play around with as well. Barbaric Yop is in the blue skill tree, and it says increases the power of pet bonuses granted to Fl4k. Now, pet bonuses are different depending on the pet you choose. You could get health regen, elemental boost, gun damage, critical damage, etc. The pet that I chose for this build is the Horned Skag. This one gives you plus 5% damage and plus 10% gun damage, which is the base. However, with the Barbaric Yop 5 out of 5 in there, plus we're using a class mod, I'll show you guys in a minute, that gives us plus 3. So plus 8 total, 8 out of 5. It gives me 21% damage, overall damage, and 42% gun damage while my pet is out. And as you can see in the Proving Grounds footage, he did not die once in Mayhem 3. Now the class mod also gives him plus 20% pet damage, and it also revives him if he dies when I get a kill. So if he dies in battle and then I get a kill, he comes right back, which is super nice. For this build, it's super important to try to find the anointed perk, where when Gamma Burst is active, you do an extra 65% radiation damage. Now, in my first video, I thought that this affected everything, but it does not. After some testing, we found out that it actually is just a bonus to your gun damage. So if your gun damage is doing 1,000 per shot, let's say, then it's going to give you 65% of that as a bonus radiation tick on the enemy. So it's going to give you 650 of that 1,000. So I have it on my COV pistol, I have it on my companion pistol, and I have it on my Lucian's Call cryo assault rifle. So it's really nice to just cycle through those, and I choose cryo when the enemies are armor, I run radiation when they're just shield or health, and I run the companion fire if they're anointed, or if I just want to do some nice big burst damage. I also want to talk about another change that I made with this updated version of Rad Dad. Initially, I had 5 out of 5 into Hidden Machine, which is in the green tree. This gives you up to 30% extra damage when the target is not attacking you. So when the enemies are attacking someone else, or they are just not attacking you. This was really great when I was playing in co-op, because this happened more often than not, where the enemies were targeting somebody else, my teammates or my pet. But it's not as good or as effective solo, I found. So I ended up taking most of my points out of that and putting them into the Fast and the Furious, which gives you 25% gun damage and 10% movement speed if you are above half health. So this helps out a lot. If you're running solo and you're always above half health, then you should have no problems proccing this, and it's just an extra 25% for you. And the movement speed helps if you're trying to do Proving Grounds or you're trying to evade the enemies as well. Also, because I'm running solo, I decided to put more points into health regen, the self-repairing system skill in the green skill tree. And I felt like this helped me with my sustainability, helped keep me topped off, helped my health be over 50%, which is where you're going to get that damage boost from the Fast and the Furious. And it also helps getting your pet more health regen as well, because we have 3 out of 3 in all my BFFs. So those are the points that you can kind of play around with if you don't feel like you need that health regen and the extra max health. Then you could put points into the attack command, you could put points into fire rate, whatever you feel fits your playstyle better. I felt like I wasn't using the attack command as much as it was on cooldown, so I didn't feel like putting extra damage into that attack cooldown and damage would benefit me. I noticed when I had 3 out of 3 in the attack command skill, which is called Sick'em in the green tree, that my pet was doing upwards of like 2-3k per attack command hit, but I just wasn't remembering to do it very much, so I ended up taking it out, and I like just running and not having to worry about that and investing more in my health and damage with Fl4k. So here's a quick rundown of my gear. You can see I have the Stabby Damned Pestilence with the Anointed perk. When Gamma Burst is active, gains 65% bonus radiation damage. I also have that perk on my Companion, and I also have it on my Lucian's Call. So all of these guys do massive damage during my Gamma Burst. And then I also have this Lucian's Call, which gives me a weapon damage increase of 100% on action skill end. So whenever my Gamma Burst is not up, which really is not that often. So for the shield, I've got the Contra Red Suit, and this you can only get from the campaign reward, so you've kind of got to work with what you have. You can get it anointed, so on my TVHM run-throughs of my other characters, hopefully I'll get a better version because this one is not very good, but I run it for the 100% resistance to radiation, so that I can stand right in front of the enemies when they blow up and I don't take any damage. I notice that when I run other shields like this stopgap, that I tend to take more damage from radiation, and it gets a little rough if you are up close and personal. For the class mod, I'm using the bifurcated friendly friend bot. This one gives me 3 points into the barbaric yop, like I said, giving me 8 out of 5, so it boosts my gun damage and my overall damage of Fl4k greatly and is super nice. Also gives me a little bit of shared health there as well, the 2 points. And the perk is when Fl4k kills an enemy, their pet gains a second wind. This is really nice on Mayhem 3 because your pet is going to be taking a lot of damage and he gets a second wind if he goes down. It also gives him plus 20% damage, and the perks I got on this are 25% weapon damage, Jacob's weapon damage, and weapon charge speed. I'd love to get one of these with some better perks on it. I also have a couple others that I can swap out and use as well. If you are playing in co-op and you want to try the Fl4k's pet taunts all enemies and get this Red Fang mod, these ones are also really nice to use. For my relic, I've got Atom Bomb Rocket Boots. This gives me radiation efficiency, so the aura damage is doing more damage. We're doing more burst damage when they die, and the burst radius is bigger, so it's just bigger, badder, more damage, more radiation, all the things. This one gives me grenade damage, cryo efficiency, which I love because I'm using a cryo weapon to combat armor, and incendiary damage, which is great for my companion's critical hits. For the grenade, I'm using recurring hex in cryo. I find that this is nice to complement the radiation build because radiation is poor against armor. You actually do less damage against armor, so you want either cryo or corrosive to help you out with that. So I usually run this grenade. You could also use another radiation hex grenade. I just love the hex grenades because they home in, you don't have to worry about where you're throwing it, and they do massive amounts of damage. Alright guys, that's it for Rad Dad 2.0. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below if you try it out. If you want to see it in action, you can check me out, twitch.tv/AbbyHour. I stream on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.